Welcome to the DTC Insider podcast, where online business owners come to find actionable tips and tactics to grow their businesses. Now, here's your host, Brian Roisentul.
Hey, welcome to another episode. I'm Brian Roisentul, your host, and today I'm super excited to welcome Lemon Fuller, founder and CEO of Lemonade Dolls, the fastest growing lingerie brand in the UK. And that's correct. It's not one of the fastest, it's the fastest growing lingerie brand in the UK and the first to invent the size H bralette. Hey, Lemon, thanks for being on the show.
Hey. Oh, thank you so much for having me. Very good to be here.
Yeah, I clarified that about the fastest growing company because it's not the same, to be one of the fastest and the fastest. And of course, I'm
It
going
took
to
us a
ask,
long time to become the fastest. So yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm going to ask that in a minute. But before doing that, why don't you tell the audience more about you and Lemonade Dolls?
Sure. My name's Lemon, and I founded Lemonade Dolls as a lingerie company 5 years ago. However, before we had any idea that lingerie was going to be a part of my life and my journey, I set up an Instagram account. And I set up an Instagram account about 7 years ago. And I chose the name Lemonade Dolls at Heathrow Airport in London. And I set it up to exist to make people feel good about themselves. It predominantly went to women, just because I'm a woman, and it was very much around kind of like female rights and just kind of feeling good about yourself, and really just putting a demand on your potential and just believing in yourself. And it grew really quickly. And it wasn't necessarily the number, because I feel like lots of accounts now go viral and you can get millions of followers overnight. So that wasn't the case. We got to about 15,000 followers, and a modest 15,000 followers in a few months. But it was the engagement. The engagement was so high that it was thousands of messages, thousands of comments, and everyone wanted to kind of be a part of this kind of positive energy, I guess. And that was when I decided, because my background is actually entertainment industry, so I'm a singer, dancer, choreographer, and I was taking a break when I set up the Instagram account, and I had to make a decision whether to go back to the entertainment industry and move back to LA, or stay in London and do something else. And I recognized a power in making people feel good. And so I said, right, I'm going to stay in London, and I'm going to turn this into a business that exists to make, people feel limitless. And that's our tagline now. And so the lingerie was born 5 years ago.
Nice. So it was first a community without selling anything, or at least without selling lingerie, and then you turned that into a business.
Yeah, correct.
So there are many founders, such as yourself, but they are shy, afraid, or something else, from being in front of a camera. They just don't want to, and they don't, again, they don't want to, they are afraid of, or they are shy. And on top of that, many of them don't understand the importance for a founder these days to be the face of the brand, or to be in front of the camera on behalf of the brand. What could you tell these people?
I don't think everyone needs to be in front of the camera. Like, my background, that's one of my skill sets, is to, feel comfortable, being the face of, because that's what I've done my whole life. But I think really, the one thing, the attribute that you have to be a successful entrepreneur, and to be able to get your story across, is to just have passion and authenticity. People need to see that you care about it, whether you are, super comfortable or not. If you're passionate and you care and you're authentic with your offering, and you listen as well, you listen to, you send out your message, but you listen to what comes back, and you pivot and you adjust, then I do believe that any personality can succeed in telling that story.
Great.
Just a bit harder. I don't know if I answered
not
your
easy.
question, but
Yeah, no. I mean, we in this pod and with the clients we work at the agency, we have, multiple cases. In this case, some founders are in front of the camera. Some of them have a full-time creator. Some of them don't have anybody. What I always say is that it doesn't matter whether it's the founder or the CEO or a full-time creator
yeah,
or somebody else, but the brand these days, I don't know what you think about it, and of course I will love your thoughts about this. It, it's way harder to be a faceless brand, if you want to describe it in some way, than it is to, people buy from people. So if a brand these days doesn't have a face, even if it's multiple of them and it's not only one,
yeah,
probably things are going to be tougher, to sell with a still
yeah.
image or with a video that's
Yeah,
is not.
totally.
I mean,
It's hard to get that personality across and why you're selling it. People care. I believe that consumers now want more. That unemotional purchase is not going to drive a scaling business as easy as it used to. So now these days you have to really kind of understand what people want and give it to them, and they often want to feel like they're a part of something, and to feel a part of something, you usually have to have a voice leading it. But one good example of a brand that is absolutely killing it, and I'm a big fan. And they do a lot of like behind the scenes in the office. They don't have a face of the brand, but they made up a voice for the brand. And it's a skincare brand, and they have just a voice across, and they've given it a name, and it's across their website, their social media. It's not real. It's not a real person. Everyone knows it's not a real person, but the voice, almost like cartoon or whatever it is, whatever you can imagine this person to be or whatever, is the narrative of their storytelling to get their product across. And I think it's brilliant. And so that's maybe an idea of how you could do it if you
yeah,
don't want to be the front.
I love that. One brand I recently interviewed, they are called Little Saints. They are a beverage brand, and they they are a mushroom beverage brand. So they dress, the founders dress as mushrooms. So Damiana, Lion's Mane, and they dance, dress as mushrooms, and they say, I don't care, looking like an idiot or something like that. I just don't care. I will go there, and if people want to see that, if I'm okay with that, I'll go ahead and do it. And they have a lot of fun. They have a lot of engagement, and yeah, they are
That's
building a lot.
amazing. Maybe I
Yeah,
should go out as the lemon, dressed as the lemon.
yeah. That could be as
I
well.
don't think I don't think so. I think my team would like that. They would be like, yeah, go on, lemon. No. But love it. Funny.
So you are the fastest growing lingerie brand in the UK. And in a second, I'm going to ask you, about the factors that you think that contributed to that. But before doing that, how did you transition, or how was the transition from having a community only without selling anything to the first few months that you decided to, have something for them to buy?
Yeah, sure. So when I knew I wanted to turn it into my next chapter, I kind of, I knew it was wanted to be around a brand and fashion. And I was looking at all the options, what it could be, clothing, swim, jewelry, everything. And actually, it was very easy when it came down to it, because I couldn't find underwear that I wanted to wear. Neither could the community that I built. So again, very engaged community. I asked them, I had, 15,000 responses, agreeing, or not even agreeing, just stating that they didn't know what they wanted to, they couldn't find, sorry, what they wanted to wear. And actually then when you looked at the industry, it was a wide open space. There was Victoria's Secrets dominating the market that was falling drastically, especially in Europe and the UK. To a point now where it's actually been sold out, and it's now sold on a second website, another brand's website, and there was no one else doing mass market. No one was trying. No, that wasn't kind of an aim for a lot of the great lingerie brands in the UK. We have lots of amazing lingerie brands out there, which I wear and I love and I champion. But most of them aren't going for mass market done better. You know, they're going for kind of either super sexy, super high end, super sustainable. I don't really know what that means anymore, actually. So I'm kind of, but because I think every brand should be doing what those super sustainable brands started out 5 years ago doing. But you know, those kind of niche, those niche companies that had a great customer base, but they weren't going out for that every person that wants to wear undies kind of cohort, really. And that's who I wanted to be, mass market. Because I believe everyone deserves to have amazing underwear and to feel incredible. Coming back to the reason why we started the brands, we exist to make people feel great and limitless. So yeah, so decided, right, let's make a lingerie brand. No background in lingerie, no background in fashion, no background in business. And I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. That was 5.5 years ago. Launched January 2019. First 3 years was a roller coaster. I call it my university at being an entrepreneur. I made so many mistakes. Didn't believe in myself enough. We had sugar rushes. That's what I call them, like massive highs. And to match the massive highs, we had the same lows. Kind of as in like the highs were great, but the lows were low. And it was a wild time. Nearly went into administration, nearly went bust a few times. And then I was put into a position to really, we nearly went to administration, and I was put into a position to decide whether I'm going to give this one last shot. That was 2 and a bit years ago. And I decided to put myself into a dark room and decide everything that wasn't banging and wasn't quite scaling the way I wanted it to scale, the things that were kind of, you know, weakening the brand, and relaunched in May 22. And in 2 years, we've become the fastest growing lingerie brand in the UK and sell a product a minute in 2 years.
Real quick before we continue with the episode, let me tell you something. If you own or work for a DTC brand and you're not hitting your revenue and profitability goals, you're not alone. Things are getting harder, and what used to work doesn't anymore. That's why it's important to find a business-oriented partner that's focused on improving the levers that will change the game for your business. And believe me, it is possible. At BSR Digital, to give you an example, we have recently helped our clients generate between, listen well, 80 and 700K in extra monthly revenue. If you'd like to explore how we could do the same for you and your business, head on over to bsrdigital.com and book a call with us. I was going to ask about the rebrand. It looks like you apply the 80-20 principle in a way. You know, it's like you try to say, you know, let's keep these 20% of efforts that generate the 80% of the results, or it's not something like that at all, or it's not what happened at all. Like, why did you decide? Because you said that really fast, and I want to zoom in on this because some brands might be going through the same or considering doing the same. So why did you decide to do that rebrand a few years ago, 2 years ago, I believe? And
Yeah.
what were the results after?
So I was actually forced into almost doing this rebrand because we nearly went into administration, and I knew we weren't going to survive if we continued on kind of the way we were running the business in the first 3 years. We had successes in the first 3 years. So, you know, we were selling more units in Topshop than any other brand. You know, we had a viral crowdfunding campaign. We were doing, you know, things were going well on one side, but under the surface, there was a lot of cracks. We could not scale revenue month on month. I am a super ambitious person. You know, I want to be a mass market brand. I want to build a mass market brand. I want to, you know, achieve great things for people. And, you know, our partnership, which we haven't mentioned, with Choose Love, with the refugee crisis that, you know, we helped. We've done 20,000 units. I want that to be, you know, millions of units to the refugee crisis. So when we weren't growing and scaling as quickly as I wanted, you know, it just wasn't enough, you know, and I realized that, you know, it was either, you know, go hard or go home for me. And I realized that I needed to address things that other people may not have thought was not good enough. But actually, where I'm happy is when we're pushing the boundaries and taking risks and, you know, kind of doing things that people haven't done before and not listening to the rules. I've never really been very good at playing to the rules. So yeah, so we nearly went to administration, which I won't go into because we probably don't, unless you have an hour that you want to talk about investment. But I signed a VC deal after a viral crowdfund, had two VC offers on the table, pretty early stage for a VC to get involved at that point. And I went with one VC and signed the contract, everything done. Our big growth partner, big winning moment, and they didn't transfer the cash. And then they drip fed kind of tens of thousands, very little, rather than millions, which is what it was meant to be. And that's why we nearly went into administration. But on hindsight, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me as a founder, me as an entrepreneur and as a CEO, and the best thing that could have happened to the brand. I don't know if the brand would still be here today if I hadn't done that rebrand. And the moment we did it, it was like, so I turned all the marketing off for 6 months. So around kind of January 2022 to May 2022, the lights were on, but barely. There was a few candles in the, that was barely it, you know, like a flame here and there. We were just fulfilling kind of organic sales. That was it. No marketing, nothing. No one working for me on payroll, anything. It really, I mean, we took it to the bare minimum, and I just looked at everything: messaging, authenticity, why we did what we did. I got rid of some cooks, some really important and very, very brilliant cooks in the kitchen, the lingerie kitchen, because actually I needed to leave. Sorry, I needed to lead, and I needed to make my own mistakes, and I needed to do things differently. And sometimes when you have brilliant people around you that have a direction that's going in the opposite way, that's not going to work. They were absolutely fantastic, but it was one of the reasons that really prevented us from scaling. So I rebuilt the team, and I hired through attributes rather than CVs. I basically hired a room full of entrepreneurs, whether they knew it or not. Most of them didn't know that, you know, some of them hadn't even, you know, one of them had one job and was putting shoes away at a spin studio. You know, I was hiring people for their energy and their passion. And we went back to the basics. And the basics was, how do we make people feel incredible rather than sales? And it exploded.
That's
to be honest, month-on-month growth, and we've done 5,000% on revenue in 2 years.
Wow, that's super interesting, and thank you for sharing that. I'm sure it wasn't easy back then, as it wasn't for many brands experiencing the same thing after COVID. 2020, somebody broke it down on LinkedIn a few days ago, and I totally agree with what they shared. It's basically that 2020, the pandemic exploded, and of course, it was the boom of e-commerce or for many brands. Many brands were born, probably thousands of brands, you know, being created every single week or every single month. And then, of course, things started to decrease in 2021. We had iOS 14 affecting, the tracking on advertising. So many brands went under in 2022. It was a tough year. 2023 was even tougher, for Europe, for the US, for the world, recession, inflation, supply chain issues, you name it, and the technical issues with iOS. So things
Yeah.
weren't easy. The difference with what you did if I may say this, is that from my point of view, it's something good that you went deep down, to say, hey, the mission, the values, where do we want to or what do we want to stand for? You said many things related to that. The hires, being, you know, having what a leader needs to have to sometimes fire the team when it doesn't work, to rehire differently with the learnings of the
Yeah.
previous, let's say, period. And many brands don't do that. Many brands didn't do it. Many brands, what they did, and I don't blame them. We work with what we have, and many people just don't know how to solve certain situations, and it happens to us all in different circumstances. But many brands, what they did is try to say, "Oh, we are not selling enough. Let's try to add more good to the fire, to fuel the top line. Let's add more ad spend so we can get more revenue, even if it's
Yeah.
unprofitably, they didn't measure the numbers, so and so. So I'm happy and that you did that, because it was a good turnaround of a business, because you really went in depth.
Yeah. Yeah. And equally, we went back to basics, but equally the team and being able to be in a position where I was able to feel confident in taking those risks and pushing
Yes.
the boundaries allowed us to become really innovative. And that's now what we are known for is, it's my mission to try and represent as many people as possible within the brand. So we were able to launch gender affirming line. We were able to turn the entire website, so every single thing we sell, into 100% recycled fabrics, not just fabrics, hook and eye clasps, washing labels, everything is recycled. All these things, there wasn't any hoops. I just made the decision, and it was the right decision for the brand. It was like, and yeah, our margins suffered, but then we found, the right factories. Then we, as we scaled, it was all about the vision and just believing in it and taking those risks. And, then we were able to create, first to market products, because, the people that are really, really intelligent and have got amazing background in lingerie and, have been to, there isn't actually a lingerie school, I don't think, but I think there are like, amazing lingerie courses and, buyers that have worked for all these big brands, they've been taught, so they have rules and, they've been taught what's possible and what's not possible. Whereas, I don't know what's possible. So, we were able to create, first to market products like the first H cup with no underwire. And, our filler cup bra that now sells, we sell double the amount of filler cup bras than we do normal bralettes. And it makes sense, it's obvious really, there is a gap in the market of people that are not being served these products because they have not been done before. So the moment you can then create products that everyone will tell you are not possible, and you can do it, you're going to sell thousands of those bras, or those products. And, none of that would have happened. None of these bras would have been created and engineered, by people that have no background in creating them, by the way. If I hadn't rebranded and I hadn't realigned team myself, believing in myself and believing in the ideas and the mental ideas that I have that are completely ridiculous most of the time. But yeah, it's paid off big time.
And I know, I guess people listening to this or watching this, why not, can already tell some of the factors that contributed to being the fastest growing lingerie brand in the UK. But could you please name what you feel or which factors you feel that contributed the most to being the fastest growing lingerie brand in the UK? Because I know some of the things you did were great, but there are also companies doing that in the same space I don't know, but in different spaces, yes, trying to rethink their mission or having a clear mission, a clear audience, having a great product. So in your case, what do you think that contributed to this achievement?
Representation and community. So listening to them, ensuring that, we were authentic with everything we did around our community and representation. We said that we want to represent as many people as possible, and we did. You can say that, a lot of people do that and say that, but a lot of brilliant brands, this is not a negative to other brands at all, but empowerment and representation have become a bit more of a tick box now. But if you actually dive deeper into it, especially if you're wanting acquisition, right? Because, if you want someone to actually click in, it's first of all getting them to look at your website, but actually to get them then to buy the product and then to add more to the basket and then to check out, is something quite entirely different. And, one thing we're really proud of is that, in 5.5 years, and this has been the same from the beginning, to be fair, but, we've not done one single we've never photoshopped a single image on our website, on our Instagram. There has been absolutely no photo, touching up on any single image. We try and have an eclectic group of models that don't just sit on the campaign, header, which is what, brilliant brands do. And it's it's amazing that they are using, different sizes and different races on their, homepage. But, as a consumer, you see that, and then you click onto the models on the ecom pages that are all size 8. In the UK, size 8, probably size 6 in the US, or 4 in the US. And then it's a bit broken at that point for someone that's looking for representation, right? And you have to see it through to the end, 150%, and if you really are saying, we're targeting everyone, there needs to be, there does need to be, 60-year-olds on your website modeling the product. Representation is not just size and race, it's everything. And we've got a long way to go. It's different abilities on the site. We're still working on it. We're not perfect. In fact, we have miles to come. But and then it goes, sorry, this probably should have been a simple question, but it comes down to, sorry, simple answer, but it does come down to that representation.
Definitely being the fastest growing company in your industry is not simple. So I wasn't expecting a simple answer.
No.
Please go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just honoring it and being passionate about it. Something that we have, and I'll try and make this very, very simple to explain. It's going to be a challenge. Grading, sizing, as a company. Again, I didn't know what I was doing, which has been a lifesaver for us. But there are set grading rules for bigger sizes. They don't work, in my opinion, right? They don't work for the bigger sizes. So when you get to, size 6 to a size 8, you add 2 inches. You can't add 2 inches from a size 20 to a size 22. That doesn't work, right? So the grading rules don't make sense as you build up the sizing. So again, coming back to representation being a part of our DNA, well, if that's not fitting quite right for those, we're going to change it. Well, there isn't any blocks out there, they've not already been pre-done. Okay, well, we're going to rewrite it then, and so it's just sticking to believing in what you've set out to do and being passionate about it, and honoring what you said to your community about representation and involving them to, listen. The consumer knows everything. We know nothing, right? We know nothing without them, right? They tell you what they want, and the moment they tell you what they want, that's a sale. Listen, deliver, and you'll sell. I would never wear a short, right? That's just me personally, and I'm the founder, and I still design everything on the website. Purely because I design probably like someone that isn't a designer, right? So I design like just a normal girl, but just wants nice lingerie. It's not complicated. And we always sell better when I design them because I don't know what I'm doing. But I would never wear a short, but we've been asked, inundated. Cool, we make a short. We're going to sell out. It's not driven by ego. It's driven by what people want.
Yeah,
You give them
yeah.
what they want, they buy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it makes sense with your story, even starting with the community without any product to sell. And of course, I can tell, I'm sure the audience can tell too, that you are truly, truly passionate about what you do. And the business is a vehicle to serve your audience. It's not that, of course, you make money from this, but you're not here to add just another product that sells well and makes money, profits, etc. It's about the mission. It's about serving these women and having the products being the vehicle to serve them better. And I can see through your voice, your eyes, and everything you say that it is that way. And that's
100%.
one of the key things, one of the key elements I think that contributed, I mean, from the outside to the success, besides all the boxes you checked and more than checked, of course, in many cases, you went really beyond. But in this case, it's the passion, it's that
Yeah.
drives you forward and that people can read through that.
Yeah. I think you need that. To be an entrepreneur, it is so hard running a business. Oh my God, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Um, it is so hard. Like all the founders out there, like I am with you. It is hell a lot of the time. And it's so difficult to get up every day and have that passion and to like deliver what we set out to deliver. But and that's why the passion is so important, because if you don't love it, if you aren't absolutely obsessed with, fulfilling whatever mission that you have or whatever you're trying to do with your company, then it would be, you wouldn't continue,
Yeah.
you would give up. Like, there's no chance. If I didn't have the kind of drive that I have for, the purpose of the brand, which is to kind of, create this product for women and as many people as possible, there's no chance. I would be back in LA singing, I'd be back in LA writing some music. Like there is absolutely no chance that I would be doing, putting up with all the crap that you have to put up with on a daily
Yeah.
basis. The
I mean,
fires, the hand grenades that get thrown at you on a weekly basis, like no chance. But it's
it
worth
is,
it because
yeah,
because
it is sad,
because
we
you have the passion.
entrepreneurs, we are crazy, we are mad. We are out of our minds for choosing
Yeah,
for
we're
cost
totally
of
insane.
promotions and
Absolutely
things.
ridiculous what we're trying to do.
Exactly. But it's 100% worth it. But the truth
Yeah,
is,
it is.
you said, if you don't have a clear north star, a clear why, but a real why, and it's
Yeah,
not
it has to
easy.
be more than the product, I think. I don't know. But in my experience, it has to be just more than a cute product or a cool product. There has to be
You
yeah,
can get away. You can for sure. Many founders create companies that probably they are not passionate about, and they see it as a real estate business. There's demand
yeah,
for this product, and now we'll create it. But a company's not the same as a brand. You know,
yeah,
and a company could be just as another company, or it could be the fastest growing. But to be the fastest growing company in a category, it's not enough to find a product that sells. You know,
yeah.
it is. It is. So, yeah, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing everything so far. I have a few more questions for you, of course. So, you mentioned representation and the community. We talk a lot about both, but mainly about, representation. I would like to dive a little bit more in depth about the community because I know that it's something that it's a strong lever for many brands to have these days. It's their own audience in an era in which many brands live in a rented land, Meta ads, Google ads, etc., or even followers. It's a community, but as well, it's, you know, you get blocked or locked out your Instagram account, and I don't know, right? You lose them. So when you said that you built a community, where did you build it? It could be multiple places. how do you keep in touch with them, and how do you leverage them? Or you can choose a different world, how do you engage with them? What insights do you get from them? How often?
Mm-hmm. So we started just, and I call it community, but it was Instagram followers essentially. But again, I don't think it's really important to state, because I speak to a lot of founders now and they say, how do you build an Instagram? Like, especially like, anyone my age and above, basically not Gen Z. It's like, God, how do we build something? And it was 15,000 followers, like, which is a lot, I understand, but it's not millions. It's not hundreds of thousands. We do have, 100, I don't know, 50,000 now, but still, that's not 5 million, right? And it's about getting the engagement and the buy-in. For me personally, of course, I can't wait to have 1 million followers for the brand, but I want them to be as bought in and engaged as the current ones, right? So I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush to kind of get that number high. I'm in a rush to find engaged, loyal people to become customers and to become part of the community, and to contribute as well to the community, so it started on Instagram. Then I would say a lot of our kind of community building is around is our CRM, so our email. We also have a membership platform where you can subscribe to monthly undies, so it's essentially a subscription, and they get treated with, I call them our VIDs, very important dolls. They, get treated slightly differently. They get kind of early access. They have personal emails from me. They, they kind of, they get extra discounts, and kind of, we're not really a discounting brand, but they get kind of extra offers and things like that make them feel really special and part of the club. But again, it's the transparency. I don't know what I'm doing, so I send, and I say that in a way that isn't putting me down, but is saying, no rules. I send I haven't done it for a while, actually, so this has reminded me. I send, kind of every few weeks, I send an update on the business to hundreds of thousands of people on our email list. And it's the bad things as well. I don't just message them and say, we've had an amazing week. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you. Here's 10% discount. It's like, wow, what a crazy few, weeks we've had. This happened. We had a really shit day when this happened, blah, blah, blah. But we actually, but this was great. And, all our community showed up on this day. And we let them in on the journey, because at the end of the day, I feel like I'm just one of them. Really, I'm just no different. So I kind of feel like getting a connection and sharing the ups and the downs of the business has really helped engage the community. We also involve them. So, we have focus groups where we did a focus group of, women that are all menopausal. What do you need? We had a focus group of people that are all part of the LGBTQIA+ community. We had, a community group full of Black women, community group full of Asian women, basically, minorities, large groups of women, just everything, just to really understand what these different cohorts want and listen to them, and not shy away from it. Someone said, oh God, you can't do a focus group just with, and I said, why not? Because they might want something from us. We're here to serve them. You can't call it out that you're just having a focus group just for menopausal women. That's like not cool. Well, fuck that. Like, listen, like, let's stop shy away. Women that's over 60. Like, unless you know what people want, you can't deliver. And that's probably been the most insightful thing we've ever done is these focus groups and shouting about them as well. We're not afraid to kind of find these amazing groups of people that are in different cohorts and deliver different things, because let me tell you, they all want different things, by the way. Seriously, they were all different, and they usually were all aligned. within their groups. So that was just incredible. We invite them to shoots. They're in our photo shoots. They are in our video shoots. We did a community party where we invited all of our community, first few hundred that applied were able to come. You know, it was like we'd never done one before. We had thousands and thousands of people register. We only had room for a couple of hundred. And it was just it was the best day of my lemonade doll's life. So far, my lemonade doll chapter was the best day. Had, you know, hundreds of our community celebrating themselves, celebrating the brand, celebrating you know, and how far we'd all come together. And we actually, this is quite a cool story, so I'll try and, you know, make it quick. But I got a photographer there. It was in a photo shoot, massive like warehouse, and the photographer was purely just to take photos of the event. We had a dance class, we had a strut class, I spoke through the next collection, we spoke about all the things that are important to us. We asked them, again, always ask them what they want. You know, we wrote it down, you know, and then I said, listen, the photographer's here, we're in a photo. I don't know if you've got lemonade dolls on, you know, I don't know whether you're wearing it or not, but, you know, if you want a photo in your undies, you know, no pressure, just, you know, let us know and we'll take some for you. I'm not joking. I burst into tears, like ugly girl crying. I turned my back for literally 10 seconds. And when I turned around, there were 200 women in their underwear just waiting. And I'm talking from ages of 18 to, I think, 77, in their undies, all sizes. It's everything you could imagine, in all shapes and forms that we all come in as human beings, were standing in front of me. They had all put on their lemonade dolls underwear, and they'd all stripped off, ready for this photo or for a photo. So needless to say, the event went on a bit longer because they all wanted a solo or a group shot or one with their friend that they just made at the event. And yeah,
What did you feel at
it was
that
amazing.
moment? What did you feel when you turned around and you saw
I
200
cried.
people?
I burst into tears. It was wild. It was amazing. And yeah, and then seeing kind of, you know, women that maybe didn't see themselves as sexy or as beautiful, seeing them look at themselves on the camera, seeing what they look like, and saying, you know, one woman I would never forget, it wasn't just me crying at this point when this happened, you know, said, I've hated my body for 54 years. And now, after today, and seeing myself on this image, on this photo, I now love myself. Like, what the fuck? Like, anyway, yeah. So, yeah, it's wild. It's amazing.
We can talk about Facebook ads. We can talk about UGC. We can talk about the latest tech app to use. But this right here makes the whole thing worth it for you as a founder. Like,
yeah, exactly.
the real touch, the real, you know, in-person community. It wasn't something that it was a campaign to get these people in a photo shoot that could have been amazing anyways. It was something, you know, that was, you know, unannounced previously. You know, it was something that people did because they wanted in an event, that they went there for you, you know, or because of you. So yes, this right here,
because of the brand.
because of the brand and because of you, you in this case, you're the face of the brand as well, and you take care of them and you talk to them, you share your feelings based on what you said, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you know, and you try to serve them the best you can, and you're doing a great job. And that's not a testimonial. That right there is, you know, a cherry on top for any brand.
And Facebook, I mean, one story that, you know, might inspire someone listening to this. So like many of us, we have this love-hate relationship with Facebook ads, Meta ads. We're a DTC business. We drive most of our new acquisition, new customer acquisition through that. We spend an obscene amount of money on it. Eye-watering. And we got banned. We got turned off because we're lingerie and whatever. So it didn't last long. But we got banned and I didn't know how long it was going to last. And this was just as we'd rebranded. So we'd starting to really build that momentum, month-on-month growth, kind of really, and it happened then. So now I would have a bit more experience in how to handle it. And, our friends, peers that had this happen to them, there was 3 weeks, and I was counting on this growth to get our next round of investment. And because it had been pretty, hadn't been good for the previous months. So I knew I needed this to be able to get what I needed, and it turned off. And I thought, what am I going to do? Like, what are we going to do? This is how we're getting our, we can grow slowly, organically, but that's not what we set out to do. And this is not what I'm telling people that are going to invest. And, and we did a video that day, the day it went off, went off in the morning, afternoon, we did a video and I said, Facebook have turned us off. And I said, we are too sexy for Meta. And we did this campaign, too sexy for Meta, too sexy for Meta. And I sent an email to our community, and it was, we generated our highest day in revenue to date at that point. Yeah. And it's just getting them involved and telling them, and I was stressed. And I made, and it was fun. We did it. We turned it fun. Too sexy, hashtag too sexy for Meta. And I was like, how can we make it serious, but fun at the same time? I didn't want to panic anyone or, make anyone feel guilty about, but, and they just, they showed up by sharing the shittiest day,
That's the power of community. You can get your ad account, shut down, turn off, etc. You can get whatever. But your community, you can have low days and high days, etc. But your community is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
If you serve them well, if you treat them
like
well.
to be part of the journey, they like to be part of the journey. We had a major issue with GDPR a while ago. Had a major fuck up. Can I say that? I can't really say that. Can I say fuck up? Okay,
Yes.
thank God. Okay, the thing I said about 5 times. Sorry. And I was thinking, oh God, you have to bleep this out. And then we had a major fuck up. GDPR fuck up, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, this is going to be bad. It was a real mistake by a junior member of staff, not intentional. There was nothing behind it. Human error. And we sent an email to every single person that was affected, and I gave them a code for the website to say sorry. And I just said, listen, I want you to use this code. This is an absolute apology. This is what's happened. This is how it's happened. We had, I think, 2 emails come back that were angry and we needed to handle. And the thousands of other emails that came back were like, mistakes happen, don't worry. And the moral of the story is, of course, people think like that. But if we'd have just said there was a GDPR, issue and your data has been leaked and we just need to let you know, but we're doing everything we can to sort it out, you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of angry emails, right? If you say, we have made a mistake, this is how it's happened, we are so sorry, and giving them the story, but the buy-in, again, just like that personal touch, not, to make a concern, or to the automatic, hi, whoever your name is, standard email with the standard setting, thanks so much. It's just, it doesn't make people buy in, and if you get people to buy in. And the next bit was, I think only about 50 codes we used, and our sales went. So the emails were, we're not using the code, we're supporting you, and we're going to just buy anyway. Yeah. And so, just, it's exciting. It's exciting for founders listening, because, just be honest with them, because you are going to see so much growth.
I could spend 1,000 more hours talking with you, discussing your journey because it's super interesting, but I do want to be respectful with your time. So I will ask you the following, just to wrap up, what's next for Lemonade Dolls?
Next. We've launched in Nordstrom in the US. We're launching in Bloomingdale's in the US next year. So I would really love to see Lemonade Dolls D2C thriving in the US, expanding out into Europe. We've got a great partnership with a massive retailer in Europe. So I'm looking forward to seeing that thrive next year. And just continuing, we've got first to market products coming out again. So from the H Cup, we've been inspired to keep going. We've got a big moment next year for Galentine's Day. We're the only lingerie brand that doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day. We only celebrate Galentine's Day. So we've got a big moment on Galentine's Day. It's another first to market product. So just, we're just on the Lemonade Dolls bus, steaming ahead, hoping that as many people can have access to the products, and in turn, because every £100 spent or $100 spent, we donate a pair of undies to Choose Love, which is our refugee partner. We also donate cash donations as well from the business and from any donations we get to customers. So just continuing that, just one pair of pants at a time. But yeah.
Is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to? Somebody you can think of?
Yeah, I would love to give a shout out to By Women Built. It is an incredible collective in the UK, which kind of brings female founders together, inspires female founders, and helps female founders through the hard times and celebrates them through the good times. And it's just been such a incredible group to be a part of, and it's massively helped me in my founder journey. So
as always, for you guys listening or watching this, feel free to go to the DTCinsider.com. When you find the episode, you will see the show notes, including everything that she mentioned. It was amazing to have you here, Lemon. Thank you for
so
sharing
much for
your
having me.
story. Thank you for sharing how you felt along the way and all the learnings that I took notes, a lot of them, and I'm sure the audience did as well.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Where can the audience go to learn more about you and the company?
LemonadeDolls.com. Lemonade Dolls on Instagram. I'm Lemon Fuller. So if you want to follow me personally, it's Lemon Fuller. And yeah, Lemonade Dolls.
Amazing. Everything will be in the show notes, as I said. Thank you, Lemon.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
This episode was brought to you by BSR Digital. We help DTC brands grow through paid ads and email marketing campaigns. If you'd like us to help your business grow, head on over to bsrdigital.com and schedule a call with us.